Saturday, the final day of the York Ebor Festival, and it's the feature race of the week, the Ebor Handicap, the Heritage Handicap over a mile and 6 furlongs, which has become, over the last few years, essentially a group race in terms of its stature. The types of horses that we get into this race are of a serious quality. The fact that Princess Zoe is even being considered for this race, the horse that was second in the Gold Cup at Ascot, it's got such a big purse of £500,000, and it's been brilliant. It's been seen for a few years gone by now as a sort of a entry point for the Melbourne Cup, but for lots of reasons, many horses aren't really being targeted at the Melbourne Cup from Europe anymore. But that doesn't mean we still don't have a really good set of horses that are due to line up. Now, we are a few days out from declaration, so we've got sort of anti-post betting and fields at the moment, but Live Your Dream for Sidebeen, Soror and Godolphin currently is at the top of the market. A very lightly raced 4-year-old. He'll need a few to come out if he's going to line up, but that probably will happen. Sunny Boy Listen for Johnny Murta. He will get in at the moment. He's number 12 on the list. He'll be fine. Saldia for Willie Mullins is also in the race. He was a recent winner of at Galway of the Galway Hurdle, so he comes in great form. The Irish like to target this race. Hamish is also in there as well. Hasn't been seen for a long time. He'll be a fascinating runner if he does turn up. Ilarab for William Haggis as well. Princess Zoe, as we mentioned, is looking as a possibility, and Fujiwara Prince. And there is a really good feel about this race, Tom, as I've said, a lot of quality, some serious stayers, all rated over 110. And, you know, from years, I went and looked at last year's race. I think the lowest rated horse in there was 97. So we've got plenty of horses in here that will want a lot of higher rated horses to come out. But it's because of the standard and the quality over years gone by, we've seen some exceptional horses win this race. But they probably, it can be quite difficult to get a handle on, but they've probably been running in some very, very nice races. It's a tricky one. It always is. Who and where have you sitting looking at the Ebor?
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be a quality edition. At the moment, the cut line comes at a rating of 103. It's going to be interesting who runs. It's hard to be confident at this stage because you need to see the final field. But at the moment, and probably likely at the time as well, because this horse will run, I'm going to keep my faith with Ilarab. Now, some people are going to ditch him because he was disappointing, in quotation marks, last time in the Hardwick at Royal Ascot. To me, I thought he ran a perfectly reasonable race. That I said before, I thought was a low-grade Group 1 event rather than the Group 2. I thought it was a good field, won by Wonderful Tonight. And he ran 8th, but he wasn't beaten too far. He actually got a race post rating of 109, which wasn't that far off his best either. So he didn't take a huge backward step. I'm willing to forgive him that run. I think he's best suited to York and a staying trip. He's not a push button kind of stayer. He needs to take a bit of riding and rousting along. But once he finds that full stride, he clears away. We've seen that twice at York. He's a 2-time course winner, and he put his rivals to bed away in the final furlong. They just couldn't see where he went. He cleared off. I like the fact that he's still improving. He's lightly raced. He racked up, what was it, a 6-timer, which is firstly very difficult to do in handicaps, especially if you're running in a couple at York, which we've already mentioned on this show, are always big fields and tightly knit. And second, William Haggis doesn't tend to keep these horses in handicap company if they're posting win after win after win. Usually goes down the group route. So potentially he's thinking, ever since the start of this year, that this horse is an Ebor horse. I think Ilarab is the best play in the race at this stage, though I do need to see the final field. If the Godolphin runner, Live Your Dream, isn't in the field, then the market's going to be completely reshaped. So might have to have another look at the value play, but Ilarab at this stage.
He's 12-1 at the moment, and that form of the Hardwick Stakes. I mean, Broome has come out and won a Group 1. Huckham we saw at the weekend, and Japan as well. Even he's gone on and finally has been doing bits and pieces. He was a winner of a Group 3, I think it was, after that. But it's a race that you can talk up a lot based on the form that's been working out very well, and also the ground was very soft. Is he a horse that would rather it be on the more lively side, on the quicker side?
That's probably a fair statement. I don't know whether he would need it on the quick side. I mean, he's won on good ground before, albeit in a small field, a weaker field as well at Newbury. I think if the rain does come, then his price will crash a little bit because he has proven on that testing ground. But I wouldn't be jumping ship if it stayed good or a bit quicker, you know.
So a horse that I think is quite fascinating in this race, and at the moment is around a 25-1 chance, I think, is Away He Goes, who was a runner-up to Trushan at Goodwood. Now, that was on very, very soft ground, very testing ground, but that was a mighty run at a big price. He does have form on better ground, but from what he's done, considering he came back from quite a good spell in Maidan, he didn't have a win over there, but he was performing at a pretty high level. He's a really big price from my perspective. Can you see why he is at that price?
No, I agree with you. I think he's a dark horse in this race. He was one of the last off my shortlist before I came to Il Arab. I think potentially bigger price because of connections. Ismail Mohammed, I really rate him. I think he's a very good trainer. Obviously, the trainer of Zane Claudette, who denied Desert Dreamer at Ascot. I think he's very good, Ismail Mohammed. And Away He Goes, he's not a horse that is very prolific. I think that could be another reason why punters are put off. He often runs well, but in defeat. I've only ever backed him once, and this is going to sound like massive after timing, but that's not that's not the point. It was on his second start, and Ismail Mohammed's horses aren't known for winning so well in their career, aside from Zane Claudette, who's doing so this year. He managed to beat Passion and Glory, a very good horse, into second, and fourth home that day was Hamish, who's also in the Ebor. So it's interesting to see how his career has developed. On debut, Away He Goes, back in, 2019, he ran into Logician, a peak Logician, a horse that was going to go on and win in the St. Leger. So he's always been very decent animal, just he hasn't got the wins to his name this year. I wouldn't be writing him off. 25-1 is not a bad shout, Jess.
Yeah, that's my kind of price. And Ismail Mohammed, as you say, I like how he campaigns his horses. I was really pleased to see Good Effort win at Deauville as well on the weekend for him. And that's a smart horse. And I just think that, yeah, he probably might be overlooked, as you say. Hamish, I just want to touch on as well, because am I right or wrong to say that he was the Antipo favourite for this race last year, and then he had this injury? What has happened to him, and what have we had any words? Have we had any vibes? You're a journalist. You probably know more than I do, or that I should do myself. But what's happened? Has this race been the focus, and do you think we'll see him here?
Well, I tipped him anti-post for last year's Ebor, and as you say, he didn't make it. He's been off the track for 428 days. And prior to his last run, he was off the track for 230 days. I don't know what's happened, but he's clearly not an easy horse to train. He's suffered setbacks. If he runs in here, it will take a monster performance to win. Though it has to be said, I think it was like a month and a half ago, that he was actually still favourite for this year's Ebor at 7-1. So he's a bigger price now. I don't know if he's going to run in the race. He's got a brilliant profile. He was only beaten a neck by Trushan back in 2019. He's a very talented horse, but to win first time up after over a year layoff, is very, very tough ask.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look, this is, as you say, a horse that's probably had its fair share of issues. He's also entered in at Chester on the weekend. So whether they'll stick to the slightly easier route, that'll be interesting to see. Let's just touch on quickly the Irish contenders. The Irish have won this race in the past. Joe Lyons won it a couple of years ago. Saldier will be an interesting runner for Willie Mullins, but Sunny Boy Listen is a horse that has been backed, I know, over the last few days. I've seen its price come in big time. Johnny Murta has been in brilliant form back over at home. He had a big 2-day double group double with Earlswood and Create Belief. The horses are just flying for him. In fact, looking at the Racing Post, you say that his run to form is 87% at the moment. So I just love to follow when he brings his horses over to the UK. And Sunny Boy Listen is a fascinating contender. Last seen when running behind Hookham in the John Smith Silver Cup, running quite a good race, and he was just behind Away He Goes. The form, going back to my Away He Goes bet, adds up for that horse, and he's double the price. But Sunny Boy Listen probably has the profile and the right connections.
Yeah, he's got every chance of improving. He's only had 12 starts. He's posted a best RPR, race pace rating of 110. He needs to slightly improve on that to feature, but as you say, Johnny Murtagh is a brilliant trainer. We've seen him win countless races this year with horses that have been overpriced. Sonny Boy Listen has form that ties in with Broome and Japan as well. And as you say, Huckham and the way he goes. I'm just slightly concerned that he can race freely. Now, in the Ebor, you do sometimes get a fast early pace, so that would suit Sonny Boy Listen. It will help him settle. But if they don't go breakneck gallop early, he can race a bit headstrong. That would be my one negative for him.
Brilliant. And as we said, SBK will be best odds for every race throughout the week at York. And I suppose only the last thing I will say is good luck to everyone. We've got great few days of racing. Hopefully there'll be no changes to the lineup before this goes out. But best of luck. Good luck to you, Tom. And hopefully we'll be back to preview some more meetings and discuss all of our big punting wins.
Yes, very much so, Jess. Best of luck to you too.